Welcome to another episode of the DJJ Erica podcast. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I hope you guys are doing well, man. It's a new month already. It's September. God dang. Listen, yesterday, is it today? Today's the 2nd or the 3rd? Okay, today's September 2nd. So yesterday was the 1st, right? And I had no clue. I would say, I got up, I did my routine, was out getting some work done, and I didn't notice that it was actually the 1st of September until around 12. After the whole morning, I'm sitting there thinking we're still in August, y'all. Man, do time fly past, or is it just me? I be sitting there dang, you know what I'm saying? But honestly, how everybody been talking about 2020 and how awful it's been, I'm kind of relieved that we only have about 4 more months of this year left. It's definitely been a lot of stuff that has been going on, and I mean stuff in a bad way. Y'all know it's been bad stuff happening left and right. A lot of celebrity deaths, a lot of just racial conflict, racial injustice, protests, race riots, just a lot of stuff that's been going on. And the overall year, was topped off with this whole global pandemic of the COVID-19. A lot of people have died very young, unexpectedly, because of this pandemic and this virus. And, this year has really been rough. And I feel like being such in a slump where we basically be stuck in quarantine, I didn't even notice, that we were in a new month. It's just weird, okay? Because that was kind of fast and slow. I can't say that I'm kind of happy that it is kind of going fast now. At least the next 4 months seem like they're speeding up. The first part of the year was very slow to me, with all of the crazy stuff. And every month it was always something going on, something new. And then everything got topped off with this whole COVID-19 pandemic that we're still in the middle of. A lot of people are trying to make it seem like it's gone, but we know that it's still going on. But anyways, everybody that is tuned in right now, I appreciate you guys for checking me out, whether you're looking on YouTube, whether you're listening on Spotify, whether you're listening on Apple, anywhere else audio wise. Just do me a favor. If you can, leave a rating. If you're listening on an audio device like Spotify or Apple, wherever, leave me a rating, share it, try to help the ratings up so I can get some more listeners. And everybody on YouTube, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. If you like my voice, you like how I do my thing, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and please make sure you guys spam the comments. Give me your opinions. I see that a lot of people be watching the videos. Some of the videos be getting viral. It's like how YouTube algorithm is. It's like every 2-3 videos I'm getting a close to viral-ish video for my channel. And, I see it's a lot of y'all watching, but I need some comments, okay? Because if y'all leave comments, and then, my channel will grow. You know what I'm saying? That's so important, the algorithm. I think that a lot of people are like, why do you tell us to leave comments? Why do you tell us to hit the like button? It's because it's going to help the video move up in the algorithm, which is going to help me reach more people. So if you truly say that you support me, if you're a viewer and you really want to support my channel, what I need from you is not a financial donation, but literally using your thumbs and hitting the like button and leaving a comment, even if it's just your opinion. I want to know your opinions. I want to hear what you guys think. And also, I want to know certain things that you might want me to discuss on my podcast. I like to have listener interaction. So I really want you guys to really try to interact with me, and give me your opinions on certain situations as hot topics that goes on. But anyway, on that note, let's get to talking about a few things. And first thing I want to say is rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman, who died this past weekend due to colon cancer at the age of 43. It was a lot of rumors and speculation going on with his health earlier this year. There was a video where he was looking not too well. He was looking ill. And people were speculating something was wrong with Mr. Boseman. And of course, for most of you guys who do not know who he is, I don't know how you couldn't. At least if you're black, then you must be living on a rock. You don't know who he is. He is the Black Panther, the star of the Black Panther film. He was the character of the Black Panther, and he made history with that film, and he made everybody in the black community feel like they were superheroes and beyond. You know what I mean? It was a cultural celebration a few years ago, and when he came out, it was just something that we never seen before. We never seen a black superhero in that capacity ever. So, he also did the roles of James Brown as well. He did a James Brown biopic. I think that he did also one of his standout roles was also Jackie Robinson. He played Jackie Robinson in the film, and he also played Thurgood Marshall. I actually seen Marshall. The two films that he did put out, I did watch was Marshall and of course Black Panther. And I mean, I love both of those films. He was such an amazing actor, and you know, a lot of people trying to figure out like why didn't he talk about his illness and stuff like that. But you know, I feel like he wanted to focus on his legacy that he would leave behind, and it was amazing to me when we found out that he actually had this cancer, stage 3 cancer, since 2016. So while he was filming the Black Panther, he was literally in chemotherapy for this terminal illness, which was colon cancer, you guys. And this also made me think of all the excuses that I've made in my life on why I couldn't do something. And I was like, you know what? I got the sniffles. I got this. I got that. I can't work. And after hearing his story, I'm sitting there like, man, I feel ashamed of myself. I mean, how many of you guys really feel, comment below, how many of you guys feel ashamed of yourself when, after hearing about his story, that he actually recorded 4 films, feature films in the midst of stage 4 battle with cancer, and you probably was complaining about, man, I don't feel like cutting the grass today because I'm sleepy or something. Just like, you know what I mean? It's a lot of stuff that we procrastinate on as people, and we make the littlest excuse on why we can't do it. And for me, you know, seeing Chadwick Boseman go through all the stuff that he has went through up until the point of his passing, and for him to produce almost 4 to 5 films, and he also has a new film that he literally just wrapped up that's supposed to drop on Netflix as well. It's just amazing to me, you know, and that takes a lot of strength. That takes superhero power strength. And you know, he actually left the light behind. You know, usually when it comes to death, we get, you know, depressed and stuff like that. But I'm speaking life into him because he's definitely someone who left, you know, he left a serious legacy, an unforgettable legacy. And he didn't have scandal. He didn't have drama going on. You know, he married his wife last year, I believe. And you know, my condolences goes out to his wife, his family. Only thing I wanted to say was also, I noticed a lot of other publications like 6 months ago when they put out that publication saying that he was dying and stuff. You know, I seen people like the Shade Room put up comments basically trying to, you know, prying into his personal business. You know, to me, I just feel like it was nasty. I feel like it was wrong. You know, anybody that's on the Shade Room, it's like, of course we all go in there, but for the Shade Room have 20 million followers, I feel like sometimes they just do a bit too much. You know, they take real serious topics and turn everything into a joke, and everything isn't meant to be a joke. You know what I mean? And when they put up the picture of him, I feel like they made a mockery of him, tried to make a mockery of him. And all of these idiots were under the post sitting here trying to make a joke. Oh, what's wrong with him? This and this. He needs to eat this. He needs to eat food. And it was like, for me, the Shade Room knew their viewers were going to go in on him because he did not look well. And the fact that after he passed, the Shade Room decides to put up all these posts, oh, we're, you know, rest in peace. And then they capitalizing off of it. Because, you know, every time they make money when they make a post, they over here putting out these celebrities tweets about Chadwick Boseman and just basically riding his death. And that's the thing I don't like about media. Like, I do media work and I talk a lot about, you know, celebrities and stuff like that. But I'm not someone who's as ruthless as of a Shade Room or something like that, where I just flat out, I just don't care to have any type of morals about myself. You know what I mean? Because you never know. It's one thing to talk about the things that a celebrity did, right? It's one thing to talk about the things that a celebrity did. You know, the gossip or the trifling things that they've done, or, you know, if they got arrested or something like that, I can see that. But when it comes to looks, you know, weight can go up and down for many and various reasons. So we shouldn't judge somebody. If you see somebody who used to be very skinny and that was their healthy weight, and all of a sudden they're 300-400 pounds, instead of you trying to make jokes about it, saying, oh, you're fat, you're lazy, for all you know, they could be sick. You don't know. Different illnesses and stuff like that affect weight. And I just feel like that is a very sensitive topic that a lot of us as adults and you know, even children, of course, everybody in the world just try to make jokes off of weight and try to make it seem like, oh, it's either you're skinny because you don't want to eat, or you're fat because you eat too much, and this and this. And lo and behold, it could be hormonal, it could be hormonal, it could be health related, you know, you never know. And with Chadwick, he had lost all this weight because he was dying. This man was dying, and the Shade Room was making a mockery of it. on their page. And do we know Chad was seeing that? We don't know. We don't know what that man was doing. He still was living his everyday life. So it was a possibility he could have seen that post and it could have made him feel a certain way. But you know what? He kept it as a class act, and that's what I will say. And all I want to say to the Shade Room is just try to do better. Like, actually do better. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we already have enough things going after us, especially this past year. We got a lot of celebrities, and black celebrities in particular, that's always targeted in a negative way. A lot of their careers and stuff like that is targeted for various reasons. And I just wish that the Shade Room sometimes will uplift people and try to add more content to their media press versus, you know, instead of it being all about the drama or putting up stupid tweets about these hood rat ass rappers getting 25 million chicks pregnant. You know what I mean? Like, y'all have the media. Why can't y'all highlight some positive things along with the crazy stuff? You know what I'm saying? But besides that, I just want to say rest in peace, Chadwick. You'll never be forgotten. Definitely love the Black Panther. And, you know, let's just honor everybody that we lost this year thus far. I'm just praying that we don't lose any more major people out there. And anybody that's out there missing, or, you know, a loved one or someone who passed, you know, definitely keep me in my thoughts and prayers, man. Now let's get to talking. Let's move along to the next subject, man, because this is a topic that I really just want to dissect in regards to Joe Budden's issue with Charlamagne the God, Joe Budden's ending of his podcast relationship with Spotify, the beef that these guys have, man. Like, you know, Joe Budden and Charlamagne seems to be having a beef right now because Joe Budden expressed last week to us, and I listen to Joe Budden because I'm a podcaster, you know what I'm saying? And you know, the thing, before I really, you know, really started to go hard with podcasting, I used to hear about Joe Budden's podcast and all these other podcasts, and I used to think, man, I want a podcast just like his. And I used to sit there and just like draw up this stuff, right, and say like, yo, these are my goals, this, and this. So since then, since I've decided to implement myself in podcasting, I've been listening to Joe Budden's podcast, watching his videos, just seeing how he markets himself and everything else. And I actually started to like the podcast. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people try to say negative things about Joe Budden's podcast. And, you know, I guess basically off of his persona from Love and Hip Hop, people ain't like him, so they just didn't want to admit that they liked his podcast, stuff like that. But clearly they did, because it was #1 literally the entire time it's been on syndication with Spotify, okay? And probably even before that, because that's probably how they got the deal struck. But basically what happened is Spotify gave him a bad deal. They went into negotiations. They didn't want to pay Joe Budden what he thought he's supposed to have been paid for his show and his podcast through Spotify, because clearly, you know, he puts in a lot of work. He literally puts out 6 hours worth of material, because he does almost 2 to 3 hour show twice a week, okay? And on top of that, this man is chopping videos up. I know it's not just him editing, but he's literally got a whole team who's chopping videos up and like literally uploading 1 million videos a day, damn near. And on top of that, he has to, all of these things is going on, and it's a lot of value, because not only is he on Spotify killing the numbers, he's also on YouTube killing the numbers, and anywhere, you know what I mean, off of those 2 platforms alone. And he basically was just trying to say that he didn't feel like Spotify was giving him a fair shot of making the proper amount of money and valuing his brand overall as the Joe Budden podcast. You know, he discussed that he wasn't coming back. He seemed a bit salty about it, and he basically was saying that the negotiation deals was not what he expected it to be. And he also went into details of how Spotify basically insulted him by, instead of giving him and his team their bonuses and stuff like that they were supposed to get for being the #1 broadcasting podcast on Spotify, they decided to try to give him and his team some Rolex watches, and so they'll buy them some Rolex watches, because he said that he didn't actually qualify for the quote-unquote bonus that they were supposed to get for hitting the numbers that Spotify wanted them to hit. Okay, so after they looked at their numbers and basically told him, like, look, man, you didn't hit the numbers that we wanted you to hit, but so we can't get you the bonus, but what we can do is get you some Rolexes. So he goes into this long story and basically says that Spotify didn't even want to pay for the real Rolexes that they picked out. They basically tried to get them some used, busted Rolexes, and basically was just talking about the mistreatment and, you know, the dissolvement of their partnership. Like, what exactly happened and how, you know, how messed up their business is. And this thing, of course, Charlamagne caught wind of it, and Charlamagne decided to go on his show, The Breakfast Club, and basically try to blame Joe Budden for his own problems, basically saying that he needed to get a better team to negotiate on his behalf and stuff like that, and basically try to say that, you know, Joe Budden is basically trying to complain and he's stuck where he's at because of his bad business dealings and stuff like that. And Joe Budden, you know, after I seen that, I was like, oh man, Joe Budden is about to like really come back at Charlamagne. Because, you know, these two are like literally the top black men when it comes to talk radio, when it comes to podcasts, when it comes to radio and stuff like that. You know, Charlamagne is on the radio and he's the top tier when it comes to radio, urban radio, and Joe Budden is top tier when it comes to podcasting. Just in general, like people always want to say, I'm a podcaster, I'm for the urban, this, and this. But overall, this man was number one. Number one podcast, whether it be black, white, animated podcast, comedic podcast, whatever. He literally topped the charts for almost like a year, 2 years. Oh, you know, he put a lot of work into it. And he got the short end of the stick and he complained about it. And Charlamagne basically got combative and basically was trying to say that his business management skills and stuff like that was not up to par. And it's basically his fault that he got a bad deal. And with that, Joe Budden decided to come back and basically come at Charlamagne the God and tell Charlamagne the God that I own this. You guys, I own this. That's what Joe Budden said to Charlamagne, okay? He was basically trying to say that Charlamagne is an employee. So he will never understand the fight of somebody being an owner of their own brand, their own show, and trying to do business and get the money that they deserve, because he's not an employee. He actually owned the Joe Budden podcast, and he is not going to settle for what they were offering him because he felt like he wasn't getting the proper treatment. You get what I'm saying? So, like, for the most part, I understand Joe Budden's point, because with Charlamagne, you know, he's employed. He works for iHeartRadio, and he basically does what they want them to do. It's a totally different thing. You know what I mean? He's basically comparing numbers and income and stuff like that, and basically trying to say, like, yes, Charlamagne, you are valuing your income as of an employee, whether it's a lot of money or not. You still are getting a small cut of the pie because you are the one that's on the microphone talking and stuff like that and helping to build them. But everybody behind the scenes is literally making 9 to 10 figures off of your talent, and you feel okay with that. You feel okay with somebody making 9 figures off of your talent, and you only getting, I don't know, 6 figures. You get what I'm saying? And he basically trying to say that the deal that Spotify was presenting to him financially was insulting because Joe Budden, as just a brand, okay, by himself, helped to make them, build up Spotify to where it is when it comes to the podcasting lane. Because actually Apple was the one that was running this was running this podcasting thing before Spotify decided to experiment, and he was the first person to do it. So he made history doing that. You know what I'm saying? And he felt like since he made history doing that and he was the owner of his own show, that these business partners, Spotify, would actually give him what he deserved, and Joe didn't get that. And unlike Charlamagne, who's okay with being employed with iHeart and helping to build their entire brand for 10 years. This is what I'm paraphrasing off of what Joe said. Charlamagne could be fired, basically, right? Joe Budden basically lost the partnership, but he didn't get fired from his own show. And he basically was trying to explain on his show, coming back at Charlamagne, the importance of actual ownership versus being an employee. Because granted, Charlamagne may have a bigger wallet when it comes to the money coming in. He might have, a bigger audience because of the opportunities and stuff like that. His opportunity to cross over to different cultures, different races and everything else. He's still an employee, and anybody can come and take what he has away at any time. Charlamagne is a hired host for a show that's owned by iHeart, The Breakfast Club, owned with Power 105. It's all of these other people that owns it, and he's the host, and he helped to build it up for 10 years. But he's still getting the short end of the stick because all of the money that's coming in is because people like Charlamagne, DJ Envy, and Angela Yee. But they're not getting paid the big bucks, right? Because they're not the ones that's making the sales. They're not the ones that own it. They don't have the power over it. And it's a totally different thing from you being an employee and being fired and losing everything that you have because you're working for somebody else, versus you being an owner and saying, hey, I want to partner with you, or someone walking up to you and saying, hey, I see you're doing a lot of numbers. We're trying to build a platform. We're going to pay you this X amount of dollars to host this platform so we can get it up and running, and then we're going to negotiate. And that's basically what I'm getting from Joe Budden, is that he's basically saying is that he, as an owner of his podcast, decided to help Spotify out with their numbers by bringing his platform, bringing his show to their platform. And, you know, although he was getting paid, he wasn't getting paid fairly. And this is something that, you know, happens oftentimes. You know, a lot of times we can bring race into it if we want to, but it's not, you know, he brought race into it, basically trying to say that if, you know, with him being a black podcaster, these are things that he has to go through behind the scenes. And I would say that I agree. In some instance, it could possibly be that, but it also could be the fact that he didn't value himself enough to think that he deserved more from the beginning. And maybe he should have did more negotiating and business and deals and stuff like that to figure out if Spotify really was the place that he wanted to go. Because now we only got like a few more episodes. It's already September. I think he said this last episode was supposed to be like September 23rd. So we got like three more weeks of that. You know what I mean? And then we don't know where the Joe Budden podcast is going to be airing. You get what I'm saying? So pretty much is what he was trying to say to Charlamagne the God. You know what I'm saying? He's basically trying to call him out and say, like, look, Charlamagne done been fired from HBO. Everybody knows Charlamagne done been fired from HBO because of certain allegations that popped up about him. He done been fired from NTV2. You get what I'm saying? He done been fired from shows because he don't own the shows. And everybody sees Charlamagne as a brand, but what do he own? And I don't know, you know, we have two different type of black men, right? Charlamagne is, you know, been in the industry for way longer, doing radio, way longer than Joe Budden, right? Because Joe Budden started up as a rapper, and Charlamagne has the respect of literally the entire industry at this point. He's literally past the peak of his career. He literally just got inducted into the Hall of Fame, the Radio Hall of Fame, and along with his other co-hosts in the Breakfast Club. And he is a legend. You know, we can't deny that. But what do Charlamagne openly own when it comes to these radio shows and TV shows and broadcasting? He doesn't own anything besides probably his name, probably. Right? And Joe Budden is basically trying to say that you might feel that you're better than me because you work for iHeart and you have a broader audience than I do. But if everything came crashing down, you literally lose it all. Like, you'll lose it all because you don't own any of that stuff. But unlike him, Joe Budden actually owns his name. He owns his show, the Joe Budden Podcast. And if the contractual agreements doesn't work out with Spotify, he literally can walk through any door and strike up a new deal without losing his actual show because he owns the show and he wouldn't sign away his rights. You know what I'm saying? And an example of people foolishly signing away their rights and stuff like that would be Nick Cannon's situation, right? Because, you know, Nick Cannon got fired from Viacom and CBS. Everyone was thinking that Nick Cannon actually owned his actual show, Wild 'N Out. But when it come to find out, he didn't actually own the show. He came in with an idea and sold it to Viacom and CBS, right? And now, since he's in hot water and he did the things that he did, you know, that insulted them, they've taken everything from him. They've taken his show. A ton of people's unemployed because of his bad business handlings in regards to selling his own product versus him, you know. And the thing about Nick Cannon is Nick Cannon was already big by the time he came to MTV with the show Wild 'N Out, right? And he could have just owned it and really went independent with it, maybe did a network partnership, and they probably would have went for it. But he literally sold it. And I don't know. I just feel like a lot of times when it comes to celebrities and, you know, especially black celebrities, they're always so quick to try to sell to the highest bidder instead of trying to hold on to something. Because my thing is that the people that you're signing off to or selling a product to, they can fire you now. You're no longer the owner of your own thing. So people are going to see your face to the brand. And then when they get tired of you or you do something that they don't like, you're going to be kicked off of your own show, your own product. And then you're going to see them basically destroy what you made, you know, steal your ideas, try to remix it, mess it all up. And now you're sitting there looking foolish because you got kicked out of your own show. Your own, you know, your own stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I just feel like that's pretty much what Joe Budden was basically trying to say to Charlamagne. It's like, dude, there's a difference between being an owner versus you being an employee. And when it comes to this broadcasting and talking stuff, you're actually an employee. People might view you in a higher light because you had such a long career. Your career's spanning like 20 plus years or whatever. But at the same time, you don't own any of this, and you could be fired, and you've been fired. You know what I'm saying? He also discussed, like, is Charlamagne being paid properly? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like I said before, the pay, like, he might not be getting paid what he wants from Spotify, but Joe Budden can walk out right now with his show and find somebody who will pay what he wants because he has the numbers, or he can do it alone and just get his own sponsors to fund the entire show and be done with it with everybody else in the okie doke that's been going on. You know what I'm saying? So y'all give me y'all opinion on that situation, whatever. Do you think that it's excuse me? Do you think that it's best for Charlamagne, or, you know, to be a Charlamagne where you're employed by bigger, higher up powers with more money, and which will possibly make you more money, or do you think that it's best for you to be an owner? Who do you guys agree with? Do you agree with Joe Budden on the stance of being an owner, or do you agree with Charlamagne the God on being an employee? And for instance, we don't know what else Charlamagne the God owns behind the scenes. He might be low key with that. We don't know. But I mean, for what we do know is that when it comes to hosting and everything else, he is an employee with iHeart, and that's just what it is. Okay. And we see this all the time when it comes to the music industry of artists and entertainers. You know, the people that's in the front face, the mascots may have you being robbed, and the business people in the business suits taking all the money that they earned and worked on. And then also it's funding as well. You know, Joe Budden as an owner, he's funding his own stuff, and he mentioned that too. So it's just two different worlds, and I think they're crashing, but hopefully they can figure it out. Now, in other news, let's talk about more Joe Budden. Tahiri, the ex-girlfriend of Joe Budden, is accusing him of laying hands on her and beating her. She went on Hollywood Unlocked and actually said it in an audio clip, and I'm going to play that clip for you guys so you guys can hear what she actually said. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to play that clip for you guys to actually hear what she said or whatever. So y'all check this out real quick, and then we'll get into it.
In a relationship with Joe was tucking it in a back, just tucking it, hiding it, just because I can't stop. I have to continue going because people rely on me, because I have to handle stuff, because I have to grow in this business, because I'm not going to fold. I'm not failing because you want me to. And I just keep going until your trauma meets you. So, you know, the words of my friend Charlamagne, either you meet your trauma or your trauma will meet you. I didn't walk into that house to discuss being in a domestic violence before. It just met me face to face. And then watch your ex say something like, Tahiri will fight a man. I didn't fight him. I was scared to death. And by all means today, I'm not a fighter. I'm just going to defend me, my mom, my sister. I'm the oldest. I'm going to defend everything I love and I worked hard for. But no, I don't walk around throwing apples or fighting a man. Like, I've been beaten before. I you know, that relationship left me with a fractured rib, a broken nose because somebody was sending him a message, and I used to always say, stop beefing out there. I'm out there still working. And he hit me on that nose and then pushed me down the flight of stairs. I remember having to talk him out of letting me go that day.
Wow. And that's just some of the clip. Man, I don't know. That's just terrible, man. Like, that's terrible. And of course, Tahiri, we seen her on Marriage Boot Camp. Like, she like got attacked. I believe it was her, Tahiri. She got attacked by her current boyfriend. That was on Marriage Boot Camp. I don't know if they broken up by now. I hope that she did break up with him. But she has a history of being a battered woman. And she was basically saying that the real reason that her and Joe Budden relationship did not pan out is because he actually was abusing her and, you know, broke her ribs and everything else. And man, shame on him, man. I don't even know what to say. It's like so disappointing to hear that, because, you know, I am a listener of Joe Budden and I like his material, his podcast, but it kind of makes you be conflicted as a listener to hear that somebody that you actually enjoy watching, is actually possibly a woman beater. You know what I mean? That is awful. That is awful. And I really hope that Tahiri, she has a tendency of getting in relationships with men who are abusive. And I really hope that she gets the counseling and stuff that she needs to prevent her from getting into or attracting the same type of men to her. Because it's like a thing that I noticed with battered women. Oftentimes, they attract the same men. Even if they feel like this new relationship is going to be better, they attract the same men, because oftentimes they're addicted to those characteristics and not even knowing that they are bringing that same drama back to themselves. Not blaming a woman for being beat, but I'm just saying that oftentimes it's a situation where a woman has a specific type, or she likes this, and this always end in a situation where she's being beat and abused and everything else. So, I mean, if this whole thing is true, Joe, you got some explaining to do. Man, I don't even know what else to say. Like, you really got some explaining to do. That is just despicable. And I just don't feel like any man should be beating on any woman. Period. It's just no excuse. And, man, you got a lot of explaining to do in regards to that as well. So, yeah, I don't even know what to say about that. So, did y'all see Brandy and Monica versus? Man, when I tell you it was historic, it was amazing. I did a live stream. Everybody that's on YouTube or even on Spotify, whatever, I actually have a full broadcast of me watching it live and giving my full detailed opinion on it. But I actually just want to talk about the numbers that it did. And basically, they broke a record. Like, Brandy actually went on social media and unveiled all of the numbers that they presented. And I was watching it, and we stayed at a solid 1.2 million viewers, okay? Through the entire thing, okay? But listen, they hit 1 million people while we were still waiting. The DJ was going in. I don't know who the DJ was. I don't remember them actually saying who it was. If they did, please tell me who it was, because, I mean, I need some of their mixes for real. From DJ to DJ, like, amazing playlist. You guys are out there playing all of the ATL hits and all the other stuff. But yeah, it was like the first 5 minutes it was at 500,000. By 15 minutes we was at basically 1 million people waiting for Monica and Brandy to come onto the stage. Then they just went blow for blow, hit after hit. And it was a fantastic show. It was actually, and everybody would say, oh, this is the best versus yet. Every time they have an artist on, oh, this is the best one. No, this was the best versus yet. And I'm not talking about, because the music catalog and this and this trying to compare. I'm talking about production-wise, the music, the audio quality, the production, the team. It was like literally a whole TV show live on Instagram. It was the clearest video quality that I've seen thus far. It was the clearest audio quality that I've seen thus far. You know what I'm saying? Everybody looked it good, There was no technical difficulties, because I got nervous. I'm not going to lie to you. At first, I was unsure whether I wanted to do live streaming off my computer or my phone or whatever, because last time when I tried to do Teddy Riley and Babyface, when they did their remix, your girl kept getting kicked out because the servers was crashing and everything else. And I had a little bit of technical difficulties with other ones that I watched, but Teddy Riley and Babyface kind of like pissed me off because we had technical difficulties the first time. Then the second time, all of a sudden my phone went to act up because I got kicked out of the dang club because they ain't have enough space on the server for all these mother lovers to watch. But this time, Instagram, y'all was on y'all stuff. I don't know who the producers and stuff like that was. I know that Timbaland and Switch Beats own it, but they actually sold it to Apple Music. I don't know if that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing in the long run, but hey, that's neither here nor there. Clearly, Apple has helped to upgrade the brand, and it actually worked because according to the numbers, the cumulative amount of people that tuned in was 1.2 million watchers, okay? A total of 4.2 million overall viewers, because they're counting like solid. They were solid for 1 point. That was the maximum. 1.2 million was the maximum, but it was over 4.2 million people that watched. This was a 3-hour versus. So think of it like this. This is people that probably watched for like a half an hour to an hour and then decided to leave and didn't stay till then. So nearly It was over 4.2 million people that watched. It literally had 100 million likes, okay? And then not only did they also, this is the Instagram numbers, okay? On the Instagram numbers. When it comes to Apple Music side, 1.8 million people tuned in. 1.8 million people, okay? They also said that they also did some fundraising as well, and they actually collected $250,000, okay? And they said that over 35,000 people clicked to sign up for voting because they actually had Kamala Harris come. That was a little weird that she popped up in there. Kind of like, I didn't expect that. But yeah, she came on there and I guess they was trying to get people to vote, whatever. Then on top of that, they said impressions, 5 billion impressions. 5 billion impressions. So that was people that clicked in, was sitting there interacting, giving comments, commentary, stuff like that. Then it was also the #1 trending topic with various 2 to 3 trending highest tweeted on Versus battles ever, okay? With over 1.1 million tweets, surpassing the VMAs. Because the VMAs actually was this weekend, and literally I think everybody paid them dust. Now I remember when BET did their virtual VMAs, and everybody was just on social media, was trending and stuff like that, but the VMAs didn't get that much I don't know what happened. I didn't even see it. I didn't care to see it. I don't know why I didn't see it, but I ain't watching, baby. But all I know is Brandy and Monica was trending all weekend, okay? And when we seen it, we was here for it. The memes was hilarious. You know, Brandy came out there. She brought out a little bit of Moesha. She had her own journal, just dear journal. I was waiting for them to play the music at the end of the show when she started talking in her diary and stuff, because she was going down the list, and she was trying to keep her ass from getting sued because they were saying that she can't sing the Moesha go. They played a little bit of it because I think she was doing, I forgot what song it was. I think it was like Best Friend, and then they threw in Mo to the E to the, I was like, oh, but then they had to cut it because I guess she said that they could possibly get sued for singing. That is so messed up because, but I guess she didn't own the show. You know, she was just a hired actress, so I guess that's the reason why she couldn't sing the song, and it was like legalities or whatever with that. But besides that, they said that also they had 1.9 million tweets globally about the event. So I mean, this is just amazing. And also, if you guys didn't know, they literally, Brandy and Monica took up 30 of the 40 spot charts on iTunes yesterday. So out of 40 songs, only 10 of them wasn't Brandy and Monica's song that was trending. So everybody went crazy downloading it. We know that Brandy's album literally probably just surpassed #1, and I'm so happy for the ladies because they really deserve this. I feel like oftentimes we don't acknowledge our R&B legends, and yes, they are in the legends realm. They've been here doing this since they were teenagers, and they're still here, and I feel like they're legends. A lot of people don't want to sit there and say that Brandy's a legend, whatever. She's a legend. Monica's a legend in their own right, and I'm just so happy that we are, you know, celebrating them while they're here. We're celebrating the culture. We're celebrating all these different things, and I'm just very happy for them. You know, tell me who y'all, because people saying, overall they said Brandy won, you know, because she had more hits or whatever. But I didn't see that. I think Billboard wrote it up and said who they thought won, but we never actually picked a winner because both of these women are winning, period. And honestly, this is just an honor for us to be able to just sit there and enjoy their music for free. We didn't have to pay a dime, you know what I'm saying? Because how I was enjoying it, I felt like I was supposed to pay for it or something. But no, I don't want to get y'all no ideas, okay? We still in quarantine and people still poor. And ain't got the money to be paying for stuff right now, okay? Versus, so don't start getting all hungry with us and all of a sudden, oh, now it's a fee and this and this. Get at another year or two before you start adding fees onto stuff like this. But I'm trying to figure out, who do y'all want to see next? Somebody said Faith Evans against Mary J. Blige, and I'm not trying to be funny, but I just feel like Mary J. Blige's catalog will crush like Faith Evans' catalog. Mary J. Blige is just, her catalog is just beast mode, period. So I just wouldn't even want to see that versus, even though Faith Evans do have some hits, you know, her catalog doesn't, you know, can't compare to Mary J. Blige. Like, it just can't, you know what I mean? I really don't know who else will go next. I mean, Mariah Carey would never do anything. That's beneath her. I feel like that's beneath, this versus thing is beneath Beyonce and Mariah Carey, like all of the big names. But do you think maybe, I don't know, because some people, you might think, we might view like maybe they feel like it's beneath them, but maybe they'll surprise us. It would be nice to see them, but I know Beyonce damn sure wouldn't do no verses. T ain't gonna do no damn verses. But yeah, who else do y'all think should do the verses? Like, I mean, we literally went through like almost all of the greats that we pretty much have. We still have a lot more, but I seen people trying to say, oh, Sade against Anita Baker, or Toni Braxton against Anita Baker. Of course, we said Faith against Mary J. Blige. Just talking about the ladies. I'm trying to think of the men. I had this idea of damn, what was that? Brian McKnight against Keith Sweat. I had this idea about them. Like, would they be good? Because I was gonna just think about who we could pair people up with, you know what I mean? And I feel like Brian McKnight and Keith Sweat was around the same era, you know what I mean? That 90s, you know, hitman, R&B hitman back then, you know what I'm saying? Late 80s and stuff like that. So I was just sitting there just thinking about that. Like, what if they did that? Because they had a few hits, but you know, how many, you know, Brian McKnight had a lot of hits, but I don't know. I don't know how their catalogs lined up. I know Keith Sweat got mad hits. So I think they would do pretty good. I think that would be a good matchup too if we're talking R&B. Did Bobby Brown do a versus yet? But who would he go against? Somebody. Who would he go against? If Bobby Brown ever did a versus, who do you think Bobby Brown would go against? Or New Edition? Did New Edition do versus? Because I know Bobby Brown, you know, he got a massive catalog, but catalog is kind of short as a solo artist. But I think if New Edition and, I don't know, another R&B group. I don't know. We just need to figure out who's going to be the next versus. All I know is Brandy and Monica, amazing job. And both of them actually put up some tweets, you know, some flattering tweets about each other. And it's just nice to see that these women have grown up, because a lot of times when it comes to black women in the music industry, people are always trying to put them against each other. And Monica actually started it by putting up this post about Brandy. And let me read it real quick. I gotta go back on her page so I can read it to you guys. Let me go back. All right, there it is. She posted up a lot of people. She said, my prayers have been said, as well as many of them answer. Communication and compassion bridge a gap that not many will understand. I celebrate you, Brandy. Your legacy, music, and catalog are undeniable. B7 available now. So she's supporting Brandy and telling people to go ahead and buy her album and everything else. And I love that. And then today, this morning, Brandy replied back and she said, let me go back on her page. She said, WCW, Monica Denise, love your new song with Little Baby Trenches. Thank you for holding it up in music and never giving up no matter the trials and tribulations you have faced. Proud to stand next to you, to have made profound history with you. So you know what I'm saying? It's really nice for them to be at this point in their careers. They're both almost like, what, they almost like 40. I think Brandy's 41. Monica is 39. I think she's about to be 40. And it's nice for them to grow. And it's funny because it's like, I see a sisterhood now. Before, everybody kept seeing a rivalry, but I really see that they're friends at the end of the day. And I would love for them, I don't know, maybe do a collaboration album. I don't know. You know what I mean? Let's see how it works out, or maybe something. Because honestly, I thought they was going to sing The Boy Is Mine, but Monica was like, girl, listen, boys, listen. Y'all going to have to pay for these vocals, okay? Because I am not singing. But Brandy was really into it, you know? But y'all tell me what y'all think about that, and let's talk about the next topic. So it's being reported that R. Kelly got attacked while he was in jail last week or whatever. And now they placed him into solitary confinement. Now, according to sources such as LoveScott.com, etc., they're saying that basically R. Kelly was asleep inside of his jail cell at the correction facility that he's located. And another inmate broke into his room or his cell and basically stomped him in the head, you know, just kept stomping his head repeatedly. They said that, of course, the correctional facility officers got wind of it and hurried up and grabbed the person, inmate that attacked the singer, only to find a pen that the actual inmate was holding on to, saying that he had intentions on actually stabbing R. Kelly with the pen. The inmate that did attack him is a violent offender. So he has like a high, you know, chance of attacking people and everything else. And he's basically been targeted and decided to target R. Kelly. You know, so this is just a crazy situation. R. Kelly is definitely behind bars and like literally reaping what he sold from the things that he did recently. It was released from the media that he allegedly like had hired a hitman or whatever, or like not hitman, but hired he paid some people off to like scare potential witnesses that was gonna like testify against him, and that was like reported like a few weeks back. You know what I mean? So he's still in jail. Although he's in jail, he's still working the outside, trying to manipulate the system to work in his favor so he can get out of jail after doing all of these alleged acts to all these young girls. You know what I mean? And for me, it's just like, just thinking and talking about R. Kelly, it's just like, man, the man is sick. You know, he's sickening. You know, his whole situation is just sick. And I feel like what happened to him, I'm not celebrating it, but I feel like this is literally the example of bad karma and what happens when you do bad things to people. This is what happens. And like with R. Kelly's situation, it is sad to see someone that's so talented and could have taken a different direction with his career and got through the hurdles he had by getting counseling and everything else, but he decided to take the dark road and literally be a alleged pedophile and you know, have sex and engage in sex with minors and do all these terrible things and acts that he's being accused of, which led to him, you know, being put in the situation that he's in right now. You know what I'm saying? So like with R. Kelly, just in general, how I feel about it, I just feel like this situation, this instance, is just bad karma. They did put him in solitary confinement so he's fine. But you know, I just feel like this is what happens when you do things wrong to people. When people say that karma is going to come back to haunt you, it usually comes back 10 times fold. And I feel like this is what's happened to R. Kelly. This is bad karma coming back on R. Kelly for the things that he's done in his past, or the past 30 years of his career. You know, from you know, sexually abusing young women, you know, marrying young women when they were minors, and doing a lot of foul stuff, locking women up, and you know, it's just, you know, all the stuff that we read about on Surviving, or watched on Surviving R. Kelly and read about in the media, okay? So, you know, I really don't know what else to say about that. Y'all tell me what y'all think about R. Kelly's situation. Do you feel like he should be placed in solitary confinement because he could possibly be harmed, or do y'all not care? Do y'all feel like he should be put out back in the general public and, you know, possibly be a target? I don't know. But I do think he should be placed back there. I mean, if he's not a physical violent offender, I don't feel like he should have to be. But you know, that's bad karma. You know, that's what happens when you deal with, you attack children, and you know, they say that, I don't know, I don't know, but people that I've encountered who've been a part of, you know, caught up in the system, say that, you know, they don't like pedophiles and they don't like child molesters, and they don't like woman beaters, like women, people that harm women and children. They usually get to work in jail. So you know, since he falls under that registry, that would make sense why that inmate attacked him. Okay, now on to better news. Tyler Perry's a billionaire. Tyler Perry's a billionaire. Everybody, if you guys are watching right now, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. Tyler Perry's a billionaire, y'all. Come on now. Come on, let's celebrate this. This is a celebratory moment for the black man and for black people, okay? Now, we know Tyler Perry has been walking around like a billionaire for quite some time, putting in all of this work that he always put in daily, you know, producing all these amazing shows, creating Tyler Perry Studios, giving employment opportunities to a lot of black actors and actresses who wouldn't have jobs right now. Legends, supporting legends, you know, endorsing new talent, and along with supporting older talent, and all the amazing things that Tyler Perry has done. And with that, he worked hard, and he literally earned himself a net worth of $1 billion. And it was reported, okay, from Forbes magazine itself, so it is definitely no question about it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a billionaire, right? He just joined the billionaire club along with his gal pal, Oprah Winfrey, and it's been reported, you know, they basically broke down his entire assets and basically said how he became a billionaire. Now, the first part of his billion-dollar fortune, okay, is the fact that he has $300 million in cash, okay? That's one thing. The other thing that they listed also is he owns $320 million of his entire library of movies, TV shows, plays, etc. He owns 100% of the content that he creates and created. Okay, he has like I said before, he has $300 million in cash along with investments. So that $300 million in cash is attached to also investments that's making him even more money. On top of that, he has $280 million and earned that from his building big old studio, Tyler Perry Studio, which sits on 330 acres in Georgia, okay? He also has $60 million for his equity stake in BET Plus streaming, the service that debuted last year. He also has $40 million in homes and toys as well. So for real, congratulations. His net worth is now $1 billion. Congratulations, Tyler Perry, man. Like, you are an inspiration to so many people in this world. And, you know, you make me believe that anything is possible, because if you really go through his biography and stuff, you would know that Tyler Perry talks about being homeless, sleeping in Atlanta, you know, living in his car and everything else, and literally working from the ground up for the past almost 30 years. He's been out here pushing it and taking things to the next level. And like the last 20 years, his career finally took off, but he was going hard for 10 years, you know, doing plays and stuff like that in Atlanta. And now he stands in Atlanta as a billionaire, from a homeless man to a billionaire. And that is a beautiful thing. And with that, I'm so proud of Tyler Perry. You know what I'm saying? Don't get any better than that. Get better than that. And anybody that's a black entrepreneur and feel like, man, I don't know if I can do this, you know, this should be an inspiration to you. Don't give up. You know, Tyler Perry is almost, he's like 50 something years old, and he accumulated $1 billion fortune. And I'm pretty sure he probably has another 30 seasons with us, 30 to 40 seasons with us. So he's got a time to enjoy that money and also pass it down to his next generation, to his son and everything else. And that's type of stuff that we need to see in the media. Outside of all this negative gossip and drama that be going on, it's good to see someone black make a bill. And, you know, we have a few billionaires, but Tyler Perry is the most wealthiest billionaire because he owns everything. He owns his content, and he literally is a self-made billionaire. So congratulations to Tyler Perry. Only thing I hope is that he starts to give his actors and actresses better wigs. You know what I'm saying? Because that one wig on that show, not trying to be funny, but you know, I hope he start getting them some better wigs, because he always looking good and all for Madea, but then he give his team these funny looking wigs. They need to hire somebody in the hair department and get some better weaves for the men and the women. They wearing toupees or whatever. But hey, whatever. He's a billionaire. He can do whatever he wants to do. I'm just talking to entertain y'all, okay? And with that being said, everybody that's out there right now, if you are on YouTube, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. And I really want to say, just to wrap up my show today, is that I appreciate everybody that sits down and listens to my podcast. I'm working very hard, and we have a lot of great interviews coming soon. And I'm talking about celebrity interviews. Celebrity interviews! Can you say celebrity interviews? Celebrity interviews! They're going to be coming on my show real soon. I've been working with a lot of different talents. I have a lot of things pending. I'm going to be having a lot of throwback artists from the past, and, you know, getting a lot of good things rolling with the channel, man. So I hope that you guys subscribe on YouTube and try to support your girl, man. It takes a lot to do this independently. Like, I literally just put up an Instagram post basically saying, when you're the camera woman, when you're the producer, when you're the host, when you're the podcaster, like, lights, camera, action. Let's get this work. And that's what I'm doing, and I'm putting in the work. After I get off of here, I got to do hours of editing of these videos. You know, it takes a lot of time for me to produce this stuff for you guys. So I'd appreciate you guys just to share the content. I'm working really hard trying to bring the best show possible as an independent black woman doing podcasts, and I hope that you guys can support me the same way that you guys support people like the Shade Room and everything else, because honestly, it takes a lot of time to do this, you know what I mean? And I love doing what I do. I love talking. You know, it really is a breath of fresh air to be able to talk and influence people and discuss things. And I hope y'all subscribe to my channel. I even made a new wallpaper. And oh yeah, how could I forget? I hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Yes, thank you. Everybody, thank you guys for supporting. I literally got over 1,000 subscribers now on YouTube, and the next goal is 10,000. So, you know, I'm so happy about that, because YouTube is very hard to grow their followership, the listenership. And for everybody that's out there, if you're a subscriber, you're listening on audio, whatever, thank you so much, because it takes a lot to get those subscribers on YouTube. It really does. Eventually, once I hit a certain amount of numbers, I'm going to give some tips on how to build your brand on YouTube and the things that you need to do to grow your brand. But until then, I'm going to keep it low-key while I grow this brand myself and hit my numbers. Once I hit my numbers, then I'll holler back at y'all with the 4-on-1 on that. But yeah, all right, I'm going to see y'all, right? So, but I'm off of here. I'm going to see y'all in the next video or on the next podcast or whatever. Yeah, this is pretty much it. And make sure you guys follow me on all social medias at the DJ J Erica podcast, at DJ J Erica. That's Instagram, that's social media, Facebook, Twitter, and all that stuff. And go to my website, djjericapod.com. I put up publications about news articles and stuff like that going on in the world up there. And I'll catch y'all on the next video. Much love. Peace. DJ